Alrighty guys, here bringing you part 2 of my one-on-one versus an India on the map Mongolia. As you can see, this is a bad spot to be in. We have lost a forward base, we have retreated to the northern reaches of the map, and India is going to push his major advantage as we speak. I made several mistakes, by the way. I'm not a pro player by any accounts, and some of the mistakes I made in this particular spot were using the men I was making there to fight, because those resources were basically just thrown away because they didn't really do much damage, they didn't harm anything, so I really shouldn't have bothered to make men there. Anyway, going back to the current game action, I do send those longbowmen around to hassle him, even though I know I'm making a mistake by letting those men stand there and fight. I am going to do the right move in having the longbowmen walk around to start pressuring him. Even though it's not going to do a whole lot of damage or destroy anything, really, it might pick off a villager or two, and it might just force him to be a little bit more freaked out than he should be. Fortunately, I was able to get another town center built. I am on mills, by the way, and that's mainly just because of my position of being very uncertain in where I am in the map and such. I went for musketeers there instead of longbowmen, even though he has sepoys, because I was worried about my amount of wood I needed for mills or for manor houses. I didn't want to be foolish. And this entire game, you're really seeing me exploit the advantage of being a British player, where I can move around the map and use my manor houses to rebuild military population or villager population. Sorry about that goof there. Anyway, I do see a sepoys walk by me, and I choose to avoid them. I don't want to make that mistake of getting engaged, but it's too late. He walks back and finds me, and I have to fight here. To be honest, I shouldn't have fought there. I probably should have just tried to run away and preserve those men, but I didn't know what to do. It was early in the morning. Foolish mistake. As he's attacking me there, though, I do start to march those longbowmen in. I want to take advantage of the opportunity to pressure him, maybe kill off one or two more villagers. I do tell those longbowmen to run away instead of dying. Nope, I don't. I send them back. Foolish there. I should have tried to save as many of those men as possible. At this point, if Blue aggressively pushes me well, he should be able to lock up this game, really, pretty handily. He's got a humongous advantage, force advantage, so I'm in some trouble here. I do send some villagers to gold, I believe, because I want to try to. I think I wanted to get Hussar out. I'm not sure why. No, I wanted to be able to get more musketeers out. I thought about Hussar, and you'll see later. I start to build a barracks, or I start to build a stable and quit. I thought about Hussar, but I was running low on gold, and I figured musketeers would be a better bang for my dollar, just because wood gathering wise, it didn't seem like I was getting wood fast enough, and it didn't seem like the longbowmen were durable enough, so I wanted to go musketeers. India's sepoy is a very powerful unit. It's a very good musketeer. Don't want to match up against them with an inferior force or even an equal numbered force of an inferior unit, so my only hope really to beat that army was to amass a bigger to amass a larger number. I do start attacking him there with the longbow. I am able to pick off one more. I'm just doing psychological games at this point. I'm dead, but as long as he's worried about little attacks and raids, it's possible that I'll hold him off from attacking me. I'm aware of the trading post and trading route, by the way. I don't want to grab them until I feel a little bit more secure in my position. I don't want to invest that wood and lose it, and I don't want to invest wood in upgrading it and lose it. And I don't want to give him the idea that, hey, I need to grab the trade post, and I don't want him to even be up here really kind of meddling in my affairs. So I do want to grab the trade post, but I want to feel a little bit more confident in my position on the map before I grab the trade post. Now, I am exploiting Britain, finally exploiting Britain's ability to have manor houses fairly well. Notice I'm setting building waypoints before the manor houses are done, so the minute the villager's out, I'm ready to go. And I see a sepoy start to march there, and I try to send those musketeers to flank, even though it's a very small force. But fortunately, it looks like he's going to head to me, and I'm just going to keep trying to fight off. I keep making villagers and manor houses, though. Don't need the population space, but do need the villagers, and here comes his massive sepoy army. Not looking good for me here. Again, I didn't run because there was nowhere to run, and I figured trying to kill off 2 or 3 was just wiser than just standing there and dying. I do make some more musketeers. Very foolish, by the way. It's something I've actually learned a lot lately, that you don't make men when you're going to lose them right away from being attacked. I was actually called on it by a clanmate of mine. I'm a Nation of Warriors. There's some really good players here. They were telling me that. So anyway, my houses start to get burned. I fully expect him to go into the town and just kill me, but I don't freak out and I keep playing, and here's why. I looked at the score at this point and thought, he's only about 10 points, or no, 20 points ahead of me, sorry. And I think, if he's only 20 points ahead of me, then I can still win this game. The reason why I think that is, your score is a composite addition of your economic score and your military score. So the fact that he has such a huge army and his score is so close means he hasn't really boomed very well, and which means that if I can destroy that army or boom well, I do have great possibility to get back in this game and win. So that's why I didn't quit at this point. I really looked at it and thought, hey, I'm going to quit, but I knew I was recording. I knew score-wise, it didn't look like he was running away with the game. It looked like he was having trouble closing, and I think part of his trouble closing, by the way, was he wasn't aggressive enough. I mean, at this point, he should have just kept marching forward. The few times he had attacked me, he had killed 10 or so men each time. So as a player, he should have been able, in my opinion, to recognize that, alrighty, he isn't massing large amounts of men. He isn't doing anything. He isn't able to mount a large counter-offensive. Notice there I start to build a stable and destroy it. But he should have noticed as a player that, alright, he's not able to do much. So he really should have pushed the advantage at this point, I feel, in the game. But he didn't, so I'm going to take advantage of his under-aggression and try to survive and keep going on. I keep pressuring him with the same longbows, really a psychological thing. They're not going to do anything, but every time he's seen those longbows, he's run into his base and kind of been scared. So I've taken a little bit of an advantage there with just psychologically making him run into his base. His set boys are now pushing, though. I really don't care if he just destroys the manor houses. As a rule, guys, when you're playing against a British player, you do not want to destroy their manor houses, because to rebuild them, when I rebuild them, I get a villager. So part of the reason why my economy's really remained afloat is because as I've gone through the map and been running, I've been building manor houses, you know, not super consistently, but I have been able to build manor houses fairly consistently, and that's really allowed my economy to pick up even while I'm migrating around the map, almost like the hands on a clock, right? Notice at this point, though, our scores pulling very close, and at this point I was probably feeling a little bit more confident than I should have. I'm looking at the score thinking, he isn't booming, and he's only got that one army. So I start to mass an army with my new barracks. He's destroying those manor houses, and I think if he's going to go around the clock, by the time he reaches me, I could have 30 or 40 men pretty solidly out there. So that was kind of my thinking. I keep making manor houses. I want to keep villager production up. I'm totally at this point okay with him destroying the town center. It's really just a distraction at this point. I have 22 on food, 22 on wood, over 1,000 gold in store. Not too worried. He does age to the fortress age, which I think on his part was a huge blunder. And the reason why is India doesn't get good access to cannons outside of their consulate. So he doesn't get a massive boost from aging to the fortress age, besides a few upgrades and some economic upgrades, but nothing life-changing, such as cannons, really, which is really why players, especially European civs, go to the 4th age. You go to the 4th age so you can make cannons and really capitalize on having the access to cannons, which absolutely butchers 2nd age infantry. So he doesn't have cannons, so I think it would have been wiser for him to save that money, especially since I'm in no capacity to age, save that money and use the 1,200 food and 1,000 gold to make a lot more set boys. But he didn't, so I'm going to hopefully take advantage of it, and I do want to get to the 3rd age if possible and make cannons, although I don't know if that's possible. Finally, by the way, I can make some barracks. Notice at this point I've just been building tons of houses. Villager production keeps increasing, despite the fact he's been destroying houses in my town. I think I've added 6 or so villagers in the last minutes of this match. I tell him bullocks there, totally just trying to be funny. I just want him to think I'm in a little bit more trouble than I actually am, and I do march that little army, that very pathetic little army, to his town because I want to distract him. I want him to think, oh, he's not dead yet, or oh, he's in better shape than he is. I go to start building a town center, and I talk to him about bullocks. It's just a phrase, by the way, I've heard. So I marched into his town center, hopefully trying to catch him off guard, but he ran apparently straight to his town center, and I was just like, yes. At this point now, he's not going to be concerned with pursuing me. He's going to be concerned with running back to his base and defending against me. So it's going to allow me to buy time to get my town center built and to keep booming and keep gathering resources and build an army. So I was feeling very good at this point, even though I'm really kind of in a way throwing away those men. It's providing a valuable distraction and actually going to save me men in the long run. His army, though, does start attacking at the top of the map, and I'm going to lose those villagers. Big noob mistake. I totally didn't even notice it until later. I'm not going to lose all my villagers, but I'm going to lose more than I should have. In this entire game, I really just threw away villagers, in my mind, a foolish way. So, I go to keep... I march my army back, by the way, because I realize now, oh crap, okay, he's attacking me. But I'm not too freaked out, actually. I double-click all my villagers, move them down en masse, and I'm not freaked out because I have about 1,600 food in store. So I'm looking at my food total thinking, alright, I can, or my wood total, not food in store, what am I talking about? I have about 1,600 wood in store, now I have 1,800. And I'm thinking, I can just build new mills and move. It's just as long as the villagers survive, I'm in good shape. I had to destroy that town center, though. It wouldn't build there for some really stupid reason. And I was like, ugh. But I am able to move the majority of the villagers from up there down, get them on mills, and I am amassing an army down here. So hopefully, if he does come down here, I'll be able to mass him unit for unit fairly nicely. Again, remember that the scores are composite combinations of both military and economics. The fact that his score is so close to mine that I've been able to narrow the gap ever so slightly means that if I can destroy that army, I'm in great shape. So I'm continuing my circle around the map, not freaking out. I'm taking advantage of his hesitations. I'm taking advantage of his hesitations and using British's manor housing ability to the best of my ability. So I start to march that army back down, and then I realize, oh wait, nope, he's up there. So I want to march him up to the top of the town. I want to hopefully have him destroy those houses and then come and attack me, at which point I will have a lot more men. I'm very happy though with the amount of army I have so far. I think that I can actually take on that military force and possibly win the game. Still a ways to go before talking about winning the game, but it's possible. Anyway, I start to attack the side of his men here, and he's at a huge disadvantage. I think I just killed 3 or 4 men, 4, 5, 6 men maybe, of his army. And when you have a 40-man army, that's a good chunk of your army that just got killed. And really, what he should have done the minute I started attacking is he should have backed up to unite his army into one. Now, I know I haven't played well and used logical strategies in a great way myself this game, but that's what you should have done. Just like I shouldn't have made those men and wasted them earlier in the game, or all my mistakes, he shouldn't have made that mistake. And I think it really allows my littler army, and not as good of an army, to upset him here. Not to mention I'm able to keep producing some longbowmen and keep attacking him. I send those villagers to wood. I think I build more houses. I'm learning my mistake from earlier in the game when I wasn't making enough houses. And at this point, the game has become a very close game. Our scores are pretty much dead equal. Mine might be a little bit more because my army's alive and his army isn't. And I know that my economy most likely has surpassed him at this point. And this is something I found when playing India, is you have to be able to take them on at this point in the game, or you're going to be in some serious trouble. Because they don't get cannons, because they don't get factories, they really have a third age lull. And my goal is to take as close of an advantage of that as possible. Notice at this point, I do start to grab the trade posts. I think you get a cart to go by your trade post about every 2 seconds or so. And so if you get 60 or 100 or whatever resources a second from the carts, that's just a truckload of potential resources for the cost of the trade post and the cost of upgrading them. So at this point, now that the game has become close, but I definitely have control of the top of the map, I want to start getting those trade posts up and running as soon as possible. That way I can bury him and really capitalize on the momentum I've gained from this fight so far. Now, I don't know if he didn't make villagers continuously the whole time, or if my raids did a lot more mental and damage than I thought in hesitating him. But I'm really in good shape at this point. I immediately upgraded the trade post to rickshaw, by the way. In a one-on-one, or like let's say to cannon, a team game, if you're in a close battle and you don't need cards, it's totally worth the amount of resources to upgrade it and get that stream of resources incoming from the trade post. It pays for itself within a minute or two, and then all of a sudden your economy just soars from it. So, because that's 62 experience a second. So if I get all 4 of those, I'm getting no, it's not 62 a second, I'm sorry. It's 62 experience every time it passes it. It's going to pass it faster once I build more trading posts. Plus, I'm going to be able to select what resource I want. So that could potentially be 62 of a resource. 62 of a resource every 1.5 or so seconds, and that's a lot more than I can gather with anything I have. And that'll really allow me to put the nail in the coffin, proverbially. But even while I'm trying to gather economic strength to finish him off, I am going to keep pressuring him militarily. I do know that I definitely taste or smell, however you want to call it, blood in the water at this point. I feel like I've got the momentum. It's funny, in political science we call it the big mo, M-O, and I definitely have the big mo at this point in the game. I pushed when I shouldn't have earlier in the game. He didn't push when he should have, but I now know it's time to push. I'm not going to let him get back on his feet. I'm not going to let him build a consulate and get some shipments. I want to finish this off. It's time for me to finish this off. I do check my home city there, but I've sent everything second age available. I really need to get to the third age. I think I'm going to try to fairly soon. The cannons will only just help me finish this off. I am able to grab another trade post, and at this point I have a good enough resource flow. I'm able to keep a steady flow of units in. And interesting thought here. He sends his villagers to stay garrisoned in the town center. If you can, I think it's better. If you know you're going to lose the town center, it's probably better for you to try to get your villagers somewhere safe, if possible. Because, I mean, his villagers there aren't gathering resources, which will actually be a weakness for him. And because I have so many units on his town centers, it's not like whatever units are in there are going to make a massive difference in defeating my army, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain it better. Like, I have 40 units sieging that town center, right? And each unit inside the town center does 10 extra damage. Having those 10 villagers in there not gathering resources isn't going to stop me from destroying it. So in general, I'm not a fan of leaving a lot of men in the town center, and he figures it out, and he doesn't. So he must have moved them out. So I keep working to kill villagers. He probably should have ran them down closer to his Agra fort. To be honest, if I were him, I would have gone to my Agra fort. The other thing I would have done is I would have started walling. In Supremacy games, I notice a lot of people are very reluctant to just start throwing up walls anywhere, and it makes sense. I mean, unless you're turtling, you really, or it's a team game, I totally understand why you wouldn't want to. But I think in this case, since he's trying to pin me down, he really should have walled and just started sealing off the map and taking control of it. Anyway, at this point, he sends in a good-sized Sepoy army. It's not going to do much to me, and I start to switch all my trading cards or trading posts to coin, and you're going to see this. I'm gathering no coin, right? 42 minutes, 30 seconds. Watch how fast I'm going to be able to age up. Just from the trade post gathering coin for me. Anyway, while we watch and keep an eye on that, I'm going to keep attacking and pressing an advantage, and I've really been able to economically capitalize here, partially because of the trade posts. In all honesty, that's really just been a huge benefit. I'm already at almost 400 coin, haven't had anybody on it. It's gathering really quickly, and I'm taking down the town center. I took down that town center, by the way, because I want to push him back to his Agra fort. I know that it may not be the most important building to kill, or it may not be the most important building to kill, just in that he probably has barracks and stables and whatever, carnivassaries up and running, and consulate. But, well, I don't want to bother really with those rice paddies. I do want to try to delodge him from this area, push him back towards Agra fort, and really just put the proverbial nail in the coffin. You know what I mean? So I see some set boys up there shooting me. I'm just like, ugh. Alright, he's doing the same thing I'm doing, but I'm not going to freak out. I'm actually going to let them stand there and kill a few units. I'm going to do that because by letting him kill those units, I now know exactly where his men are. They aren't moving around. They were standing there killing things. If I had a few more villagers up there, I probably would have let them stay there. It wasn't a big deal. I started to destroy the wonder. To be honest, that probably wasn't the wonder I needed to worry about destroying. I mean, there's far better wonders. There's far more important buildings I probably should have gone after. I should have probably pushed down to the south or moved to the fort. I realized just about now I'm going to do exactly that. He's not there. While destroying that wonder might do a little bit of economic damage, it's not going to do a huge amount. I do move my explorer over. I want to start to get another town center built as soon as I age. And by the way, notice this: 2 minutes after I switched all my trading posts to coin, I have enough coin to age up, plus almost 300 coming, over 300 now. So totally a great investment to get those trade posts. It really just took my economy and really gave me a humongous advantage. I start to siege the Agra fort there. I figure I'll use those longbowmen approaching from the top to attack the town center. I send them straight to the Agra fort. I forgot. I do send them straight to the Agra fort though, because that is a wonder that really kind of just blocks me off in the map wise. So I really just wanted to get that out of the way so I can move around the map and really take control. Also, if I destroy that town center and that Agra fort and that castle, he won't have a home city shipment point left on the map to drop stuff at. So there's also a little bit of a home city play, or gaining a home city advantage there through that. I do send those longbowmen though to the old town, because I figure he's probably just switching between town to town. At least that's what I would do in his case. I'm about to get to the third age. Notice I have almost 1,000 coin. I'm at 900. Probably going to reach 1,000 fairly quickly by the time I age, just from the trading post. So that trade post has really just been a huge economic boom. And I'm aged up and I have 3 shipments available finally. I start to send the coin and decide now I'm going to send the cannon, that's more important. Then I send the hussar and then the coin. Just kind of showing what my priorities are. I've really been able to take control of this game. I haven't been making that many more villagers. It was a trade post that really allowed me to swing this game back into my favor. I go there and I destroy the town center. I think I'm going to leave the town, I think I'm going to leave the houses and rice paddy intact. That's not really an important priority. I do start to build barracks immediately. I need to take advantage of the momentum I have. I need to put the nail in the coffin. I failed. I was overly aggressive early in the game. At this point, I'm not going to do that. I do finally build my house, and I tell him hell of a game. It really was a crazy game. I didn't expect to win. He really, at several points, had me and should have been able to just finish the deal, but you know, that's how it goes. So I do actually stay there and destroy the buildings. Not a wise move, by the way. In general, your priorities in a close game for destroying things really should be military buildings, town centers, and possibly consulates, castles, outposts. You know, go for the important buildings. Farms, houses, not really super important. Having to build houses is annoying, but it generally isn't a game changer. So just think about what you spend your time spending your units to. I start to make musketeers because he's finally switched to cavalry. Make another town center. I'm gonna ship 8 villagers. Just finish my economic boom in a way. Although I'm at 1,500 gold just from that trade post after aging. So trading that trade post was a huge advantage, and I am going to get a cannon and some real good benefits from aging, which India doesn't get, and you gotta say that's really hard for them. Iroquois does get cannons actually, but India, Sioux, and no, it may just be India and Sioux. They don't get cannons in the third age, and that really hurts them. I honestly think with those civilizations in particular, it's wiser to wait to age, and then and use those resources for a larger army instead, and to keep the pressure up. Well, that's just me. Anyway, so I hope you really guys enjoyed this game. It's pretty much over at this point. if you want to have a takeaway lesson, or a lesson at least I learned, is number one, don't make men at barracks when their barracks are doomed. It's a waste of resources. Lesson two, don't destroy houses if you're playing against the British. And lesson three, go after the important buildings, you know. And that's just pretty much the guidelines. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I will have another episode coming very shortly. I have already recorded it, and I will be narrating it soon. Anyway, crazy game. Can't believe I made that comeback. Big Thunder Man is done here. Didn't expect to win it. Not at all. But it happens. You got days like that where you just come back from the impossible. I really didn't want to quit because I'm a Nation of Warriors member. I was recording. It was one of those things where I knew I was going to post it online, so I'm like, he's going to have to kill every single one of my villagers if he wants to get the win. And I'm glad I was a little bit stubborn this game. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like, a comment. I've been requested to do a German one-on-one. I will look to be getting that fairly soon. It is kind of hard to play one-on-ones or any games like that because I do have to adjust to the civilization, and it's really hard to be a pro player with all the civilizations. Really, you concentrate on one civilization for a while. So the clip I'm moving civ to civ is actually kind of a little bit difficult, but I will be looking to get a German one-on-one, and I will be hopefully bringing you another British match on another random map fairly soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Big Thunder Man, out.